This is Gary Marr from Glendale Community College. This screen capture is for my CIS 150AB online students. And in this screen capture, I want to do our first example in pseudocode of object-oriented programming. Now, this particular example is going to get built on. So this is not by any means complete. It does not have encapsulation fully implemented. And also what I'd probably do later in another video is to split the class information or the class file off of the application file. So I'd actually be running this from two files instead of one. But it's perfectly acceptable in most computer languages to put your class file in with your application file. Now, the class file in this case is called checkbook. If this was a Java program, I would also have another class, which I'd call the driver class, which is more or less the traffic cop, the map, or it's the main, if you would, set of instructions that controls the program. And by when I say controls the program, this main driver program will look a lot more like our structured procedural examples from previous chapters. But what it will do is instantiate and call out members of the checkbook as needed. So let's just review this very quickly. Now, this is going to have a little bit of Pythonism, but not all of it, because Python doesn't support everything. So this is, in fact, a little bit of pseudocode, a little bit of probably C, and a little bit of Python into one. I will also run this as a Python program, and I'll tell you guys where to find it so you can actually run it yourself and look at it with a debugger. Now, what I've done here is I've got a section of this program which defines the actual class. And this is true of most computer languages. So I've got a class here which is going to be available from, so it's public, which means it can be called by the driver class or other classes. It can be accessed, at least started and instantiated externally. It is in fact a class definition, so that keyword is used pretty much in every computer language. It's called checkbook. Now, the standard is you want to make the first initial capitalized, and whether you make it Pascal cased where you have this second word capitalized is kind of up to you. But the convention for most computer languages is to make your class files have a capital letter for the first letter in the name. So there is my checkbook class definition, starting point, my class definition. I have some instance variables which reflect the data that this class is going to have the ability to store and reference. I also have I have one function or method called curbout. Now, whenever a function is defined within a class, its name changes to be a method. It's semantics. The way this is coded and the way it works is exactly like functions and modules we've talked about in the past, or in Python, the def keyword. But when it reaches a class file, it's called a method. So I've got some state here and some behavior. This is similar to the example that was on the PowerPoints in the lecture. Okay, now, as it stands, this block of code just basically tells me about that thing called a checkbook. It isn't executable, it's just a definition, just like an integer is a definition of a number. Down below here is the driver program, which is actually the application. Now, the first thing the application does is it instantiates this class as an object in memory. Now, once this is put with a name in memory, I can utilize it, because up here, it's just a definition. Down here, via the variable name of CB, I can now access it, reference it, return data from it. So this line 26 is going to take that reference number CB, and it's going to specifically talk to the member called deposits and give it a value of 100. Okay, now, do I have something called deposits? Yes, right there. It starts off with a 0. Now it is 100. I'm going to print a statement to the screen. I'm going to go after my class object again. Still the deposits, but this time I want to take whatever was in there from before and I want to add 100 to it. So now the new value in deposits should be 200. I'm going to do the similar step for checks. I'm going to check for $100. And then finally, I'm going to call this curcal method, which again was up here, defined in the class. And what it's going to do is it's going to use the instance variables from within the class to return a balance and then print that balance to the screen. Okay? And then after that, I'm going to hit my end statement. This is pseudocode, and the program's going to end. Now, if you've done any programming in JavaScript, Java, C#, Python, You may say, well, this is kind of an oversimplification. Yeah, it is a little bit. This is to give you your first taste of a thing called a class and how it would be defined, that blueprint or cookie cutter. How would it be acknowledged, how would it be consumed, I should say, by my program and utilized to come up with a solution, a fix to a problem, an answer to a question. Now, that's step one in understanding how you would use an object with your pseudocode, all right, and create an application or logic that is built around object-oriented programming. Now, I'll have a Python one also to show you. It'll be in a separate video. Thank you.